Ethan Cole looked out from the edge of the cliff on the moon of Eularis. The moon was quiet and gray. Rocks were scattered everywhere. The sky was dark with tiny stars shining far away. He adjusted the scanner on his arm and watched the readings carefully. The human exploration team had been sent to this place to study minerals. They were also keeping an eye on the borders of alien-controlled space. It was dangerous, but Ethan liked the challenge. "Ethan, come back," called Lila May, the team leader. She was small but strong and had sharp eyes. "We need to check the other side." "It's not safe here alone." Ethan smiled. "Just a few more readings." "I think I found something unusual." He moved closer to a rocky crater. There, half buried in the gray soil, was the wreck of a strange ship. It looked old and broken, but the design was elegant. It had smooth lines and glowing symbols along the hull. Ethan had seen many ships before, but this one felt different. It felt alive. "Lila, come look at this," Ethan said. She walked over, her boots crunching on the rocks. "Careful," she warned. "It could be a trap." Ethan knelt and cleaned some dust from a metal panel. He saw a small window, cracked but still holding. Through the window he saw a figure. At first he thought it was a mannequin. But then he realized it was a person, or something like a person. The figure was lying still, covered in silver armor that reflected the dim light. Long silver hair spilled over the shoulders and violet eyes were closed. Ethan's heart beat faster. "Is that alive?" Lila whispered. "I think so," Ethan said. "We have to open it." She might not have much time. The wreck was unstable. Dust and small rocks fell from the edges. Ethan touched the panel and felt the heat. The ship's reactor might explode if they stayed too long. Still, he couldn't leave her there. He pulled out a small laser cutter from his belt. Sparks flew as he carefully cut through the metal. Lila held his pack and helped him steady the cutter. The metal groaned and fell away. Inside was a stasis pod with strange energy lines glowing faintly. The figure inside moved slightly. Her eyes opened, glowing softly at first, then brighter. Ethan froze. He had never seen eyes like hers, large, violet, full of life and intelligence. She gasped. "Where am I?" Her voice was melodic, calm, but there was fear hidden beneath it. "You're safe," Ethan said quickly. "My name is Ethan. I'm a human." "We found you. Don't worry, you're okay." The woman struggled, weak and dizzy. Ethan helped her sit up. She looked at him closely, her eyes scanning his face as if trying to understand him. "Human?" she said, repeating the word slowly. "Yes," Ethan said. "I know you might not trust us, but I'm not going to hurt you." Her lips trembled. She seemed to study him for a long moment. Then she nodded faintly. I don't understand. I thought humans were small-minded, dangerous, weak." Ethan smiled softly. "Some humans are that way, but not all. We try to help each other." Suddenly, the ground shook. A small section of the crater collapsed. Ethan grabbed the pod to keep it steady. "We need to move now," he shouted. With Lila's help, he carried the pod to the human ship parked nearby. The airlock opened and the crew rushed to help. The woman's pod was lifted into the medical bay carefully. Ethan followed closely. Inside, the medics began examining her. Machines hummed and lights flashed. She slowly opened her eyes again, now more alert. She looked around the room and paused at Ethan. "You saved me," she said softly, almost a whisper. "I did," Ethan said. "It's okay. You're safe now." She studied him. "I don't know how to thank you." "I am Princess Elira of the Varan Dominion," she said. "No one has ever touched me without permission. No one has ever risked themselves for me." "Why do you?" Ethan shook his head. "Because it's the right thing to do. I didn't think about you being a princess or anything. I just saw someone in danger." Elira's violet eyes softened. She had been raised in a palace of rules where people obeyed her because they had to, not because they wanted to. She had never known kindness like this. Hours passed as the medics stabilized her. Ethan stayed nearby, answering her questions and explaining what humans were like. He told her about Earth, about oceans, rain, music, and stories. She listened quietly, fascinated. She had known power, but not wonder. Humans had a strange way of finding beauty in small things. By night, the human ship was fully ready to leave the moon. Sensors picked up alien warships approaching. They had detected the wrecked vessel and were coming to claim the princess. Lila looked worried. "They're here. We have to leave fast." Ethan looked at Elira. She was sitting upright now, her long hair shining in the light of the ship. She smiled faintly. "I want to go with you." "I trust you," Ethan nodded. "Then stay close. We'll get through this together." The human ship launched into the dark sky. Outside, Varan ships moved in formation, sleek and fast. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. The humans stayed calm, using their smaller size and clever maneuvers to dodge attacks. Ethan piloted carefully, guiding the ship through asteroid fields and craters. Elira watched silently. She had been taught that humans were weak, but here she saw courage, skill, and care. She realized that maybe her people had judged too quickly. When the battle was over, the human ship was safe. Elira walked slowly to the observation deck, looking at the stars. I do not understand humans fully, she said. But you are different, brave, honest, caring. I feel safe with you. Ethan joined her. Humans can be many things, but we do try to protect each other. I'm glad you're starting to see that. Elira smiled, faint but real. Perhaps. There's more to your people than I believed, perhaps. There is hope. For the first time in years, she felt free, not bound by duty or fear. She felt that for a moment she could be herself. She could trust. She could hope. And as the human ship moved further into space, Ethan felt a quiet pride. He had saved a princess, yes, but he had also opened a door that might change the destiny of two worlds. Elira sat in the corner of the human ship's observation room, her violet eyes fixed on the stars outside. The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with tiny points of light. She had never seen anything like it. On her homeworld, the sky was always filled with bright colors from the city lights and energy grids, but here, the stars were calm, quiet, and free. Ethan noticed her sitting alone. He approached quietly. It's beautiful, isn't it? He asked. Elira turned to him slowly. Yes, it is unlike anything I have seen. On my world, I see power, I see wealth, I see control. But never this. Never peace. Ethan smiled softly. Humans are small in the universe, but we find wonder in simple things. The stars, the rain, the sound of wind. We notice life in small ways. Elira tilted her head, thinking, I do not understand it fully, but I feel something. I feel calm. Ethan nodded. That's good. You deserve to feel calm. For the next few days, the ship moved quietly through space. Elira spent her time learning about the humans on board. She watched them laugh, argue, and work together. They were messy, she thought, but honest. They helped each other without expecting anything in return. That was new for her. In the Varan Dominion, everyone helped only to gain favor or power. One evening, Ethan approached her with a small device. This is a music player. I thought you might like to hear something from Earth. Elira raised an eyebrow. Music, what is that? Ethan smiled. It's sound humans make to express feelings. Some songs are happy, some sad, some just stories. He pressed a button and soft sounds filled the room. Elira listened carefully. She closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. It was strange and new, but it made her heart feel light. For the first time she laughed, a soft melodic sound. You enjoy this? Ethan asked. Elira nodded. It is strange, but uncomforting. I have never felt like this before. Ethan's smile grew. There's a lot more to humans than what you've been told. The next day, alarms rang throughout the ship. Sensors detected several alien warships approaching quickly. Ethan and the crew rushed to the control room. Lila May pointed at the screen. Varan ships. They found us. They want the princess back. Elira's face went pale. They will attack. Why? I am not a prisoner. I am free. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. We'll handle it. Stay calm. The crew prepared the ship for defense. Humans were smaller and slower than the Varan warships, but they had clever tricks. Ethan guided the ship through asteroid fields, dodging the larger ships. Each movement was precise. Each decision mattered. Elira watched in awe. The humans were not strong like Varan soldiers, but they were smart, brave, and willing to risk themselves for others. Her beliefs about humans began to change. During the battle, Ethan noticed Elira watching closely. Are you all right? He asked. Elira nodded. I am surprised. Your people. You are not as weak as my advisors said. You are strong in ways I do not understand. Ethan laughed softly. Strength is not always about weapons or power. Sometimes it is about heart. Sometimes it is about caring for others even when it is dangerous. After hours of careful maneuvering, the human ship managed to escape the Varan fleet. Everyone cheered quietly. Elira smiled, feeling relief and admiration. She had never seen humans act with such courage without expecting reward. Later, in the medical bay, Elira tried to understand more about humanity. She asked Ethan about Earth, about the humans' lives, and about their strange customs. Ethan explained simple things: how humans celebrate small victories, how they tell stories to learn from the past, how they find happiness even in difficulties. Elira listened, fascinated. Your people, you seem small in the galaxy, but your hearts, they are not small. I do not understand it fully, but I want to. Ethan smiled. You will in time. Humans are simple, but we try to do what is right. As the ship traveled, Elira noticed more about the humans. They were messy at times, arguing over small things, but they helped each other without thinking of power or status. She compared it to the Varan Dominion, where even kindness was a way to gain favor. She felt a strange admiration. One night she found Ethan on the observation deck staring at the stars. She stepped quietly beside him. Ethan, may I ask something? Of course, he said, turning to her. Why did you risk your life for me? For a stranger? Ethan looked at her, thinking, because it was the right thing to do. Because no one should be left to die if you can help them. It's what humans try to do. Elira's eyes glimmered. She had heard of such acts, but never seen one. I do not understand. On my world, people help only for gain or duty, but you help without reward. Why? Because it matters more to be good than to be powerful, Ethan said. It feels right. Elira studied him silently. She realized she felt something she had never felt before. Trust, admiration, and a strange warmth in her chest. She did not know the name for it, but she knew it was important. The next day, Ethan introduced her to the ship's crew. They were simple people, yet strong in their ways. They taught her how humans worked together, how they planned and adapted. Elira learned quickly, curious about everything. During lunch, she laughed for the first time openly. She tried human food and found it strange but enjoyable. She noticed how humans shared, joked, and cared for each other without expecting anything in return. She thought about her life in the palace, where every action was measured, every word watched, and every smile calculated. Here, humans were free. I never knew life could be like this, Elira said quietly to Ethan as they walked along the ship's corridors. It can be, Ethan said. Humans are not perfect, but we try. That's all that matters. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped again. More Varan ships were detected, moving faster than before. Lila May approached the control room. They're coming back. They are not happy we escaped. Elira's hands tightened. They will attack again? Yes, Ethan said. But we know tricks they do not. Humans are small, but we are clever. Stay with me. The human ship prepared to defend itself again. Ethan piloted carefully, using the asteroid fields and debris to hide and confuse the enemy. Elira watched, heart pounding as humans risked their lives to protect her. She began to understand the courage and determination that Ethan had spoken of. Hours passed. The Varan ships eventually retreated. Elira felt a strange pride. Your people. I begin to see there is strength in what you do. Not like my warriors, not like my guards, but strength in heart, Ethan smiled. That's humans for you. Not always the strongest, but always trying. That night, Elira sat by the observation window looking at the stars. She felt hope, something she had not felt in years. She thought of the humans, of Ethan, of their courage and kindness. She realized that maybe her world had judged too quickly. Maybe humans were more than the Varan had told her. Ethan joined her quietly. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? Elira nodded. Yes, but I feel safe, and I wish to learn more. Ethan smiled softly. Then I will teach you. As much as you want to know. For the first time, Elira felt like she could trust someone outside her world. She felt free from duty, free from fear, free to hope. And as the human ship moved through the silent stars, she realized that her life, and perhaps the lives of many others, was about to change forever. When Elira returned to her home world, the first thing she noticed was the silence. The palace, once full of servants, guards, and advisors, now felt cold and empty. The corridors were polished and shining, but there was no laughter, no warmth. She had expected welcoming smiles, but instead, she saw tension and whispers. Her father, Emperor Kale, waited in the grand hall. His face was stern, his eyes sharp like knives. He had heard everything, the rescue, the escape, and the human ship. His daughter had defied the rules of the Varan Dominion by trusting humans. Elira, he said, his voice deep and commanding, you have risked everything. Your actions are reckless. You have been influenced by a human. Elira bowed slightly. Father, I only tried to save my life. And I learned. Humans are not what you believe. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Do not speak to me of lessons, child. Humans are weak. They are dangerous. They do not belong among us. You will remember your place. Elira lifted her head. I remember my place, Father. But I also remember what I saw. The human who helped me, he risked his life to save me without thinking of reward. He is brave, honest, he is not weak. A murmur ran through the hall. Advisors and guards exchanged nervous glances. No one had spoken like this before. The princess was supposed to obey, not argue. Emperor Kale slammed his fist on the table. Silence. You will be confined until you understand your duty. 2 guards stepped forward, but Elira raised a hand. Father, please. Hear me, humans. They are not monsters. They have courage and they have heart. They could be allies, not enemies. We cannot judge them without seeing. The court was silent. Some advisors frowned, others whispered to each other. A few looked impressed. This was unusual. The princess was speaking openly against tradition. You are naive, Elira, the emperor said. You will learn, as all do, that your feelings are dangerous. You will stay in the palace until you are ready to obey fully. Elira was escorted to her quarters. The doors closed and she was left alone. The room was large and beautiful, with tall windows and soft light, but it felt like a cage. She thought of Ethan and the human ship. She remembered the way humans laughed, worked together, and risked themselves for each other. She sat by the window and looked at the stars. Perhaps, my father is right, she whispered. Perhaps I am too soft, but I cannot forget what I saw. Humans are different, and I will not turn away from that. Days passed. Elira was confined but allowed minimal contact with her advisors. She listened to reports of politics, trade, and war, but her mind was elsewhere. She thought of Ethan, of his calm courage, of the way he cared for her without reward. She realized she had never met anyone like him in the Varan Dominion. One day, a message arrived from Earth. It was a small, encrypted communication, but it reached her through secret channels. It was from Ethan. Princess Elira, I hope this finds you safe. We are working to avoid conflict with the Dominion. Know that you are not forgotten. Humans will not abandon you. Elira's heart lifted. She held the small device close. He remembers. He cares, she whispered. That night, she decided she would speak again. In the main hall, she requested an audience with her father and the court. The guards were hesitant, but she insisted. The hall was tense as she entered. Nobles whispered, some in fear, some in curiosity. She stepped forward and addressed everyone. I speak for what I have seen. I have been saved by a human. He is brave, honest, and kind. He did not seek power or reward. He acted from heart. I ask you, should we not see the humans for ourselves before judging? Emperor Kale's face darkened. You are defying your duty, Elira. You speak of humans as equals. This is unacceptable. You will be confined immediately. Elira stood firm. I cannot be silent. I have seen courage and goodness that surpasses what we thought possible. Humans may be the allies we need, and they may show us what we have forgotten. If we continue to judge without understanding, we risk everything. The court was divided. Some nobles muttered in agreement, others in anger. Emperor Kale's advisors looked worried. This was unprecedented. The princess had spoken truth that could not be ignored. You defy me, the emperor said, his voice shaking with anger. And yet the people, some of the people listen. This cannot stand. I will decide your fate. For the first time, Elira felt the weight of real power. She realized that courage was not only in battle or physical strength, it was also in standing for what one believed, even against the might of an empire. Over the next few days, she was allowed limited movement, but her words had reached beyond the palace walls. Citizens whispered of the princess who spoke of humans as allies, not enemies. Some soldiers began questioning their orders, wondering if humans were truly weak or if their courage was underestimated. Elira used the time wisely. She learned as much as she could about her own people and the humans. She remembered the stories Ethan told her, the laughter of his crew, and the small acts of kindness she had seen. She realized that strength was more than weapons and soldiers. It was trust, courage, and care. One morning, she received word that a Varan fleet was preparing to patrol near the border, intending to strike humans preemptively. Elira knew she had to act. She sent a secret message to Ethan, warning him of the fleet and offering guidance on safe routes. She did not know if he would see it, but she tried. At night, she stood by the tall windows of the palace looking at the stars. "I cannot forget him," she whispered. "The human who saved me. He showed me a new way to live, a way to hope, a way to trust." Days later, the Emperor summoned her once more. "Elira, your actions have caused unrest. Your words reach the people, and your loyalty is in question. You must choose, obedience or confinement." Elira met her father's gaze. "I choose to speak the truth," she said. "Humans are not our enemies. They may be our friends. If you punish me for this, you punish your own people for seeking the truth." The hall fell silent. The Emperor's face was hard, but he knew the court was watching. He realized that Elira's courage had changed more than just the princess herself. It had stirred doubts and hope across the Dominion. "You are bold, Elira," he said slowly. "But boldness does not protect you. You will remain in confinement until I decide. Know this. Your actions may have consequences far greater than you understand." Elira bowed slightly, but her heart was strong. "I accept the consequences. But I will not stop believing in what is right." In her quarters, she prepared for the days ahead. She studied maps, fleet movements, and reports of human colonies. She wanted to understand both sides to see if peace was possible. She thought of Ethan and the human crew. She remembered their courage, their laughter, and their kindness. She realized that hope could grow even in the darkest times. That night, she dreamed of the human ship, of Ethan's calm face, and of the stars outside Eularis. She imagined a future where humans and Varen could work together, not as enemies but as allies. The dream felt fragile, but it gave her strength. Elira understood that courage was not only in saving lives or fighting battles, it was also in speaking the truth, even when powerful voices demanded silence. And for the first time, she felt that her voice could make a difference. As the days passed, she continued to learn and plan. She studied the humans' ways, their courage, and their kindness. She realized that she had changed. She could no longer see the universe as a place divided simply by power and fear. There was more. Something humans had shown her. Hope, trust, and the possibility of friendship across worlds. Even in confinement, Elira felt alive in a way she had never felt before. She had seen courage, kindness, and heart, qualities that could change empires, and she vowed that she would do everything she could to protect those qualities, even if it meant standing alone. For the first time, the princess realized that her life was no longer only about duty or obedience. It was about choice. It was about believing in what was right. And somewhere out there in the vast galaxy, she hoped that Ethan and the humans would continue to show her that even the smallest acts of courage could change the course of history. Elira sat in her quarters staring out at the distant stars. She had been confined for days, allowed little movement and no contact with the humans. But she could not forget Ethan. She remembered his calm courage, his kindness, and the way he had risked everything to save her. She knew she could not remain trapped while the Varen fleet prepared to attack human colonies. Something had to be done. Late at night, she moved quietly through the palace corridors. The halls were empty, dimly lit by glowing panels. Guards patrolled every few meters, but Elira had learned their schedules. She slipped past them, careful to avoid making noise. Her long silver hair brushed against her shoulders, but she moved with grace, trained for situations like this. Reaching a secret maintenance tunnel she had discovered earlier, Elira accessed the communication system. She sent a brief encrypted message to Ethan, describing a hidden escape route. She did not know if he would receive it, but she had to try. The message included coordinates for a small transport bay and instructions to be ready. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Ethan received her message. He studied it carefully and immediately began preparing a small crew to assist in her escape. Lila May, always brave and resourceful, volunteered to accompany him. A few trusted crew members prepared a fast shuttle, equipped with enough shields and weapons to handle small patrols. Back at the palace, Elira reached the transport bay. The doors were massive and heavily guarded, but she had timed her movements. The guards were distracted, arguing over minor orders. She slipped inside the bay and activated the small shuttle Ethan had guided her to. The engines hummed softly and the controls lit up. She felt a thrill of freedom. Suddenly, alarms blared. Elira froze. The patrols had noticed the shuttle. She took a deep breath and pushed the throttle forward. The shuttle lifted from the bay and shot into the sky. Outside, the palace towers and walls receded as she navigated through narrow spaces between buildings. Laser turrets opened fire, but the shuttle's shields absorbed the blasts. She felt fear, but also determination. She would not fail. In space, Ethan's crew waited. The small human ship moved with speed and precision, scanning for patrols. When Elira appeared on the sensors, relief swept through the crew. Lila May's voice came over the comms. "Elira, hold steady. We've got you." Elira maneuvered the shuttle toward them. Varen patrol ships noticed the movement and gave chase. Ethan guided the human ship through an asteroid field. The rocks were dangerous, but they offered cover. Elira followed carefully, dodging lasers and avoiding collisions. The Varen ships fired relentlessly, but human ingenuity and precise timing allowed the shuttle and the human ship to stay ahead. During the escape, Elira looked at Ethan. "You risked everything for me," she said quietly, almost in disbelief. Ethan smiled. "I told you I do what is right, and I do not leave anyone behind." The shuttle docked with the human ship. Elira climbed aboard, breathing heavily but unharmed. She looked around at the human crew, realizing how different they were from the rigid, ordered world she had known. Here people worked together, laughed together, and risked themselves for each other without expectation of reward. As the human ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, Elira realized she had left her old life behind. The palace, the rules, the confinement, they were gone. For the first time she felt truly free, but freedom came with danger. The Varen fleet was tracking them, and larger ships were closing in. Ethan and his crew prepared for battle. They had only small weapons, but they had strategy. The humans moved quickly, weaving through space debris, dodging enemy fire, and striking back when they could. Elira watched, learning from their courage and quick thinking. During the flight, Elira realized something important. Humans were not just brave, they were clever. They used their size and speed to their advantage. They improvised. They worked together. She thought of the Varen warriors, powerful and disciplined, yet rigid and predictable. She understood that victory often went to those who could think, adapt, and trust each other. Hours passed. The Varen fleet began to retreat, frustrated by the humans' maneuvers and unexpected tactics. Elira felt relief, but she knew this was only temporary. The Dominion would come again, stronger and more prepared. In the quiet moments after the chase, Elira and Ethan sat together on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them. "You were incredible back there," Ethan said. "I was proud to see you handle yourself so well." Elira looked at him. "I was only able to do it because you showed me courage. Because you trusted me, my people. They taught me to obey, not to act, but you taught me something different. You showed me strength that is not only about power, it is about heart." Ethan smiled. "That's humans for you. We try, and we care. That's what makes us strong." Elira nodded. "I want to learn more. About humans, about your ways. I want to understand this strength of heart." Ethan reached out and placed a hand on hers. "You already have. You just have to trust yourself." The days that followed were tense. The human ship moved through uncharted space, avoiding Varen patrols and seeking safe passage. Elira spent her time learning everything she could from the crew. She practiced piloting, learned to read star maps, and studied the human strategies. She discovered that humans were resourceful in ways she had never imagined. One evening, as they rested near a quiet asteroid field, Elira spoke softly. "Ethan, I never thought I could feel this way. My life was always planned, always ruled by duty, but now I feel alive. I feel free, and I feel something for you." Ethan looked at her, surprised but calm. "You don't have to say more." "I understand. I feel the same." Elira smiled faintly. "It is strange. On my world, feelings are often hidden, controlled, or used. But here, I can be myself. I can trust you," Ethan nodded. "And I will never betray that trust." The human crew noticed the change in the princess. She laughed more openly, spoke with curiosity, and helped them plan their journeys. She was no longer a passive passenger. She was part of the team, a bridge between worlds. But danger was never far. Varen scouts had begun tracking their trail. Larger ships were on alert, ready to attack if the humans returned to Varen-controlled space. Ethan and the crew worked tirelessly, setting up decoys, hacking sensors, and plotting routes through asteroid belts and unclaimed sectors. One day, as they moved through a dense asteroid cluster, a Varen ship appeared suddenly, firing its weapons. The human ship shook under the attack. Ethan shouted orders and the crew responded instantly. Shields raised, engines powered up, and the ship dodged through the rocks with skill. Elira assisted by managing some of the navigation systems. She realized that humans not only relied on courage, they relied on teamwork. Every action mattered, every decision could save or cost lives. After a tense chase, the Varan ship retreated. The humans had won again, not by strength alone, but by clever planning and cooperation. Elira looked at Ethan. Your people, they are truly remarkable. Not just brave, but wise in ways my people are not, Ethan smiled. That's humans. Small, messy, but always trying. Elira felt a deep admiration and a strange warmth in her heart. She had seen courage, kindness, and loyalty, qualities she had never fully understood before. And now she wanted to bring those qualities to her people, to show that humans were not enemies but allies. As the human ship moved further into uncharted space, Elira sat beside Ethan looking out at the stars. I will never forget what you and your people have shown me, she said softly. I want to help build a future where our worlds can trust each other. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on hers. We will, together. The stars stretched before them, endless and bright. For the first time, Elira felt hope that was real, that could grow and that could change the galaxy. She had escaped confinement, learned courage, and discovered trust. And with Ethan by her side, she believed that anything was possible. The human ship moved quietly through uncharted space. Elira sat beside Ethan in the observation room, watching the stars glide past. For the first time, she felt a sense of peace. She had escaped the palace, learned about courage, and discovered humans' ways of thinking and caring. She felt free in a way she never had before. Ethan watched her quietly. You've changed a lot, Elira. You are braver than you think and smarter than you realize. Elira smiled softly. And you've shown me a world I never knew existed. I cannot forget it. I cannot forget you. Ethan reached for her hand. You don't have to. We're here together now, and that is what matters. They spent the next few days preparing to make contact with both human and Varan leaders. Elira had learned much about diplomacy and the workings of her father's empire. She knew the Varan people feared humans because of their size and unpredictability, but she also knew humans could inspire hope and courage in ways the Varan had never expected. When they reached the neutral zone between human space and Varan space, Elira requested to broadcast a message across the galaxy. I want everyone to hear, she said. I want them to see humans as I see them, brave, honest, and willing to act for the greater good. Ethan helped her prepare the transmission. She spoke in her natural language, but it was translated for all to hear. I am Princess Elira of the Varan Dominion, she said. I have seen humans. I have seen their courage, their honesty, and their hearts. They are not our enemies. They can be our friends. We must not judge without knowing. We must seek peace, not war. The message spread quickly. Across Varan space, citizens paused and listened. Soldiers lowered weapons. Advisors argued with each other. Many began to question the teachings they had always believed. Across human space, fleets and colonies received the message with surprise and hope. Humans had been misunderstood for too long. Back on the ship, Ethan looked at Elira. You did it. You changed minds. Elira shook her head slightly. No, we did it together. Humans and I. Without you, I could not have spoken the truth. Days later, a Varan delegation arrived to negotiate. Emperor Kale came in person. He looked at his daughter, and for the first time there was a trace of respect in his eyes. Elira, he said slowly, your actions have caused unrest, yes, but they have also revealed truths I did not see. Humans, perhaps they are not the enemies I believed. Perhaps there is a chance for peace. Elira stepped forward. Father, I ask you to consider a new path, one where our people can work with humans, learn from them, and grow stronger together. We do not need to fight them. We can choose to trust them. The Emperor studied her and the court waited. Finally, he nodded. Very well. We will open talks. Let us see if trust is possible. Elira felt a wave of relief. She had not only escaped confinement, but she had also created a chance for peace between two worlds. Ethan stood beside her. You've done something amazing, Elira. Not just for your people, but for all of us. Elira looked at him and smiled. And you've done amazing things too, Ethan. You showed me courage, trust, and kindness. You made me believe that humans can change the galaxy. The talks between humans and Varan began. It was not easy. Old fears and prejudices were strong, but Alira's voice, backed by the courage and honesty she had learned from Ethan, inspired hope. Slowly, agreements were made. Borders were respected. Trade routes opened. And most importantly, both sides began to see each other as allies, not enemies. During the negotiations, Alira and Ethan spent quiet moments together. They spoke of the stars, of home, and of the future. Alira had learned much from humans, not just their strategies or courage, but their way of thinking, their sense of hope, and their ability to care for others. One evening, as they looked out at a calm nebula, Alira turned to Ethan. "I wish I could marry someone like you, human," she said softly. Ethan's hand found hers. "You don't have to wish," he said. "If the day comes, we'll figure it out together. For now, let's focus on building this future. There is still much work to do." Alira smiled, feeling warmth in her heart. She had escaped confinement, helped create peace, and discovered trust and love. The galaxy was vast, but for the first time, she felt that hope could reach even the farthest stars. As weeks passed, human and Varan fleets worked together. They explored new planets, shared knowledge, and helped colonies recover from conflicts. Alira traveled between worlds, learning and teaching. She shared stories of courage, honesty, and kindness, showing that one person's bravery could inspire entire civilizations. Ethan continued to guide and support her. Together, they navigated political challenges and dangers from those who still feared change. But their bond was strong. They had learned that trust and courage could overcome fear. One day, on a quiet planet with a blue sky and calm oceans, Alira and Ethan stood together. The sun reflected off the water and gentle waves lapped at their feet. For the first time, the princess felt truly at home. Not in a palace of rules, but with people who trusted each other, and with someone she cared for deeply. "Look at this," Ethan said, pointing to the horizon. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Alira nodded. "It is. I have seen many worlds, but this feels right. It feels like hope," Ethan smiled. "And hope is what will guide us. Together we can do great things. Not because of power, but because of courage and heart." Alira took his hand. Yes, together. The galaxy was changing. Old fears were fading. Humans and Varan were learning to understand each other, and in the quiet moments between stars, two hearts had found trust, courage, and love. Alira looked up at the sky. "The stars are endless," she said softly. "But I feel like we are finally on the right path." Ethan nodded. "We are, and we will keep going. For peace, for hope, and for each other." They stood together, watching the sky, knowing that the future was uncertain but full of promise. They had faced danger, fear, and the unknown. Yet through it all, they had found courage, trust, and a bond that could not be broken. Alira turned to Ethan, smiling warmly. "I am glad I found you." Ethan smiled back. "And I am glad I found you." The stars shone brightly above, reflecting in their eyes. Two worlds had begun to understand each other. A princess and a human had shown that courage, kindness, and trust could change the galaxy. And for the first time in a long time, Alira felt that anything was possible. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but with hope, courage, and each other, she knew they could face whatever came next.